Hello, my friend. So here we are, 14 famous women portrait artists you should know. Quick sound check. Let me know in the comments where you are in the world and maybe what the weather's like today. And that way I know you can hear me. And as soon as I get the thumbs up or I see a comment that lets me know that you understood the question, I will keep going. Okay, so because there's a delay and I don't want to hold you guys up, I'm going to keep on going anyway, and hopefully somebody will check in and let me know that yes, you can hear me or no, that you can't. So we're talking about 14 famous women portrait artists you should know. Hello, I'm so happy to be here with you today. So let's uncover some of these masterpieces by examining 14 of the most famous female portrait artists across from art history. I'm talking about from hundreds of years ago till today. Okay, so I know you guys can hear me because I'm getting a thumbs up from people, which is great. So I know there's this myth that there aren't famous women artists. And the truth is there's been lots of accomplished famous women artists. It's just they haven't been celebrated enough in art history. So let's fix that today by sharing with you some really inspirational paintings. So the first one is Calida Garcia Ralls. And these look like photographs, but these are actually paintings. I believe they are oil paintings. Isn't this stunning? Give me a little love in the comments if you love this artist's work. Unbelievable. This image with water and the flesh and the shine on the faces. It's so gorgeous. So what she does is she combines the meditative quality of the water and reckons it with Black trauma. So she's really making statements with her pieces, but they are absolutely visually unbelievably stunning. Okay, so the other thing I want to share with you is her art was featured on the cover of Ta-Nehisi's Coates' The Water Dancer. So he commissioned her to paint the cover of his most recent novel, The Water Dancer, and that was last year. All right, so next on the list, so we're flipping now from present times to many years ago. So this is an artist that I feel like everyone should know. Elizabeth Louise Vigée Lebrun. She was French. She was born in 1755 till 1842. She was completely self-taught, and then she was admitted to the French Academy with a little help from her pal, Marie Antoinette. And she was known for painting the aristocrats like Marie Antoinette. So during, of course, the French Revolution, she had to flee. So she's very well known for these natural portraits of aristocratic women. Okay, so and I want to just take a moment just to give me a little bit of love if you know about this artist and if you like what you're seeing. I want to see a lot of comments in the feed because I'd love to hear what you guys think and keep it interactive. Okay, next is Augusta Savage. So she's an American artist. She's a sculptor. She was born in 1892 and lived until 1962. And this is her really amazing artwork. She was a trailblazing sculptor associated with the Harlem Renaissance. And she was the first African American artist to be elected to the National Association of Women Painters and Sculptors. And not only was she an incredible artist, but she also was an activist. Okay, so next we're moving back in time, I should say, circling back in time to Mary Cassatt, one of my personal favorites. So she was a painter during her height was in the French Impressionists. She was a colleague of Degas. She was one of the only 3 female artists and the only American officially associated with Impressionism. She's best known for her paintings of mothers with children and domestic scenes. But what I really love about her, and I don't think we actually included that painting here, but she really flipped the idea. Some of the artists painting in her time, it was all about voyeuristic and the male gaze turned on women. So she really flipped the narrative, and it was about more empowering women. And with the art of children, you can see how this child takes up the bulk of the painting. So the child actually takes up more real estate in the painting than the mother does. So she really was flipping the narrative of what was important. You know, women and children were supposed to be seen and not heard. And she changed that. She flipped that. And not naked women, clothed women. So she's a very important artist. Moving along. All right, next is Frida Kahlo. Who loves Frida Kahlo? She's a Mexican artist, born in 1907 and until 1954. Her fierce self-portraits feature her iconic bold unibrow and mustache. And her constant remaking and layering of her own identity was an important predecessor to identity politics. And by the way, she was very political. I mean, she was very much involved in the Mexican Communist Party, as was her husband, and she was never afraid to express herself. All right. Thank you for giving me some love in the comments here. I'm loving that you guys are interacting with this. Okay, next we have Mickalene Thomas. So she was born in 1971, and she's a contemporary. So she's somebody who we can still love and admire today. I just love this artist. She's best known for her collage-like painting. So you can see how she really created this whole artwork with different pieces. And she creates these vibrant portraits, and it's not just about the visual. She addresses themes including sexuality, race, beauty, and gender. She examines how the representation of women in popular culture informs our definition of femininity. So if you've never heard of her, I'm glad I'm introducing you to her. Yeah, Terry, it's collage. Okay, so we're going to move on. We are up to number 7. So I decided to include a photographer. This is Cindy Sherman, another contemporary. She was born 1954. Her art consists primarily of photographic self-portraits. So she was always remaking herself. She is basically the queen of the selfies, but she's always a different character in every photograph she does. She never really portrays herself. She's always portraying somebody else. So that is Cindy Sherman. Next is number 8, Biza Butler. And these are quilts. She's an American fiber artist known for her quilted portraits and designs embracing Black life. These are absolutely visually stunning. I had the wonderful opportunity to see her art recently at the Katona Museum, and her art is collected by some major museum collections. She's definitely a name to watch out for. And Amy Sherald is number 9. If you don't know who she is, so she's an American portraitist. She depicts African Americans in everyday settings, but she's best known for her portrait of Michelle Obama. So hail to the queen, Amy Sherald. Next, we have Judith Leyster. She's Dutch. And the reason why many people may not have known about her, even though she was, at the time, she was well known as a Dutch Golden Age painter. And even though her work was highly regarded by her contemporaries, Leyster and her work became almost forgotten after her death. And here is why. Her paintings were attributed to either male artists, like Frans Hals, or to her husband. So if you ever wonder why do we not know about women artists, it's because of the patriarchy. And here's another example of that. Camille Claudel, unbelievable sculptor. She's best known, though, as being the lover of Auguste Rodin. She did work on many of his sculptures, but she died in relative obscurity. She only later gained recognition for the originality and quality of her work. And here's a name that it always pains me when people don't know who she is. This is Berthe Morisot. So remember I said earlier, there are only 3 women who were part of the Impressionist circle. She was one of them. Mary Cassatt was one of them. Berthe Morisot was the other very important woman in that group. And she's often known as the first Impressionist or the mother of Impressionism. Okay. Moving quickly to number 13. So remember, there's 14 on my list. Women artists you should know. This woman artist should be like the poster child of the Me Too movement. So she's Italian. So we're going way back in time, going back 400 years or so. I butcher all the names. Artemisia Gentileschi. I hope I got that close. So she was actually raped by her art teacher. And then there was a trial about her rape. And during the trial, they tortured her with thumb screws. Can you imagine not only how painful that is to have to be put on trial, but they were torturing her, and they were torturing her hands. And she was an artist. But her art is so important. It's not just her story. I want you to look at this art that is so beautiful, because she really, again, she flips the narrative. You can really see the anguish of the woman in her portraits. It wasn't just about a voyeuristic male gaze of being able to look at a naked woman that you would see very common in the Baroque period, but she actually made it about the woman. So if you look at this one, you can see this is, I think, the head of John Baptiste. So she would manipulate her paintings to be empowering rather than derogatory towards women. And you really can identify with these 2 women in this painting. And then I wanted to end this list with Mary White. She's an American watercolorist, born 1953. She is known internationally for her watercolors of contemporary people. And the reason I'm ending with her is she is one of my influences for painting in watercolors. She's best known as a watercolor portrait artist. She also likes to depict the people. I believe it's South Carolina, near where she lives. I could be wrong about that. Okay, so I want to hear from you. Who is excited to start painting portraits now? Give me some love in the comments. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are saying, talking about what you think of these artists. I love the participation, but I want to hear from you. Who is excited to create their own portraits? Yeah. Give me some love. Give me a thumbs up or hit the heart, hit the like button, and let me know if you're excited, because I have some good news for you. If you've always wanted to learn how to paint portraits, I have some great news for you. I have a passion portrait workshop. It's a free 4-part video series. And in this series, you're going to uncover the taboo technique most portrait artists don't want you to know. We'll explore the 5 Ps of the Schulman portrait painting process. And you'll learn exactly which watercolor supplies you need to get started so you don't waste money on the wrong stuff. To get your hands on it, just go to schulmanart.com/videos. So here is what it looks like. If you pop here, just click the blue button, enter your email and your name. And when you get to this page, that means you're in. By the way, I'm also doing a live demonstration, a live webinar, live masterclass demonstration. So you can save your seat when you click that button on the thank you page. Okay, so I am ready to chat with you guys. Do you have any questions about anything we talked about? Or you know what? I'm so glad you were inspired. So what I would like you to do now is in the chat box, I would like you to share my greatest takeaway was, and write that down below. Okay, and I'm seeing some of the comments. So right now on my phone, I'm not checking text. My assistant Anna is helping me with all the comments because I can't see them all because of Facebook privacy. All right, so Terry loved the fiber work. Carol loved the quilts. Yeah, they're unbelievable. Unbelievable. I know her art is being collected by Toronto Museum and other places as well. So they're coming to museums near you. She is definitely a hot artist right now. Okay, Carol likes Artemisia. Oh, good. Sandy can't wait. Maria's excited. Beautiful. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions or takeaways. I'll give you a moment to catch up since there is a delay between when I ask you, do you have a takeaway? Do you have a question? And when you post it. So I'll give you a little bit of time. All right. So Maria is excited. Beautiful. And Terry liked the quilts. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions, but I always come back later. So if you're watching this on replay, you have a question or a comment, I do take a peek. Facebook makes me look. They say, hey, you have new comments. Go take a look at them. So don't worry, I will catch up with you if you post later. But meanwhile, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for being with me here today. So mark your calendar for next week, next Thursday. I'll be coming here live on Facebook at the same time, 4 o'clock Eastern time or whatever time it is in your time zone. I'll be coming right back here to answer your questions about watercolor. But in order to prepare for that, make sure you sign up for the free video series. And I'll be here to talk about the watercolor advantage when it comes to painting portraits and answer your questions. All right, everyone, have a beautiful weekend. And thanks again for being here today. Bye-bye.